All right, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. I want to give double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who do well taught me this truth. I want to say peace, mercy, and blessings unto all the hopeful elect. The name of the Heavenly Father is Yahweh, and that means He exists or He's to be. The name of the Son is Yahushai, and that means He is the deliverer. Okay, when you pray unto the Father, you have to pray unto Him in the name of the Son. Okay, so you must say Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai. Bahashem means in the name. That's the Paleo-Hebrew, or the ancient Hebrew tongue. All right, the Lashon Kodash, the pure tongue. Okay, and we are the Hebrew Israelites, right? There are 12 tribes that consist of our nation. Today we're being called Haitian, Jamaican, West Indian, Trinidadian, Black, Dominican, Puerto Rican, Cuban, Mexican, Latin, Hispanic, Native American, Seminole Indian. Okay, and it's not about skin color. In fact, our people are scattered all over the world, looking like all the people of the earth, carrying on, worshiping their God, speaking their language, keeping their customs. But in days we're being called back, all right, to serve, all right, and come back to our true heritage of being Israelites. The self-proclaimed white man, he's not white, he's red. He has a biblical nationality, which is Esau, Edomite, Dumia. All right, according to Bible prophecy, this man is the end of the world. This is a video from Homestead Journey, right? It says, Americans are working without pay and no one seems to care. And that just shows you the state of this country. We're here in 2025. You have military workers, okay? NBCnews.com. Workers on overseas U.S. bases go without pay as some are directed to food pantries. What a slap in the face. What a slap in the face. The U.S. Army said guidance was for foreign nationals whose pay has been frozen because of the shutdown, not active duty military personnel, right? Workers at some overseas U.S. military bases are going without pay during the shutdown, with employees on at least one base in Germany directed to food pantries before local officials stamped in. So they're being directed to food pantries, right? So that shows you the state, all right, of this country is through. Babylon is fallen. We can see it in the spirit, This is Proverbs 29:2. There's going to be a recurring theme as we get closer and closer to the end. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. It's going to be a whole lot of mourning, to the point where you're going to start seeing people hitting the streets. It's just a matter of time before there's mass protests, people hitting the streets,
So the federal government has been shut down since October 1st. SNAP benefits for over 42 million Americans are on the chopping block, and air travel is seeing major delays due to staff shortages. But your mortgage, your childcare, your grocery bills, none of that's paused. And so many people
That shows you he's a fucking devil. This man, he would shut the government down. Take the SNAP, what people use that to get food. And then still make you go to work 40, 50 hours a week, 10-hour days, whatever the case may be. You're not getting paid, but they're not doing anything to stop. They're not doing anything to at least say, okay, well, you're a government worker. We have some type of funding to where you're not getting paid, but debt is not piling up or rent is not due. We have an arrangement with the landlords, none of that. All right, you still have to pay health insurance. You still have to put gas in your car to go to the job that's not paying you to get to and from. Otherwise, you'll be fired or let go. Okay, you still have to put food on your table. So now these people that are working, they have to. What do you think they have to do? They have to go and do other shit like the gig economy, Uber, Lyft, Uber Eats, DoorDash, so they can make a little money, because the job that they're going to is currently not paying them. That's the state of this country, man. And people actually think that this bitch is going to bounce back. It's over, right?
really starting to get impacted because this shutdown is lasting for a very long time at this point.
This is getting ridiculous. Federal workers not being paid. My husband goes to work for 10 hours a day, and we have nothing in the bank. We had to borrow money from our neighbor to buy groceries because we
People, what she said, they had to borrow money from their neighbor to buy groceries. Now, what does the scripture say? Scripture says there's going to come a time where man is not going to have any pity on his neighbor. You know, it's going to get to the point where, man, people going to be like, fuck the Johnsons next door. They're going to just run in their house and take their canned goods. Some cases they're going to take, the woman going to be taking, guns. It's going to get real nasty out here, man. That's the judgment on Babylon. And the Bible was written in code. It says Egypt, Assyria, Babylon, Nineveh, but it's all talking about America.
We don't have any money because he's not getting paid. I don't understand why they can't still pay these workers. They already have the money in the budget. This is ridiculous. They still get paid. Why are they still paid if they don't do their job?
Because when the righteous are in authority, I'll read it again. This is why. This is an answer to a lot of the questions in this video, right? Proverbs 29:2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. That go to show you that they're not righteous rulers in authority. They're not righteous people ruling on the earth right now, right? But when the wicked bear rule, people mourn. This is why people are making all these videos, talking about their problems, crying. You can see in their face they look very stressed out, hopeless. They don't know what to do. They have all these questions, but they don't have the answers, right? That's because they're mourning. The No King's Day protest, mourning, And how does your leaders, how does Trump respond? By dropping sludge or shit on the people that's Let's show you how they feel about you. They feel about you as though like you're not shit, Why
are they not required to stay at their job until they finish it? What do they expect people to do? I found out they can't turn off our electric and they can't turn off our water. What happens if they don't end up paying these people? What if they don't pay everybody for their work? What are we paying taxes for? They're not doing anything that helps Americans. Not a thing. They're not even doing their job. The most basic part of their job, which is passing budgets and bills, and I'm really getting frustrated and tired, and what are we doing? What's the plan? What's the end game? Because even if they open everything up back up tomorrow, they're going to do the same thing in a few months. They continuously use this as a tactic, shutting down the government. Here's another question I have. What if they don't open it up ever again? What if they just continue doing this? I don't know. Can they do that?
Then it's going to get to the point where people are going to get fed up. You know what they're going to do? They're going to hit to the streets and they're going to protest. Okay? Problem, reaction, solution. This is 2nd Esdras 9, and I'm going to start at verse 1. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself. Okay? Now, in the Bible is found the prophecies, the prophetic books, the prophets. Okay, so you use the prophecies written in the Bible to measure the time. Right? And when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it's the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. And when you read those books like Matthew, Luke, Mark, all right, they asked the Lord, what's going to be the sign of your coming? He said there's going to be famine, pestilence, earthquakes, diverse places, wars, rumors of wars, right? Verse 3. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, that's what we're seeing, all right? Uproars of the people in the world. That's coming to America in a real way, all right? 4. Then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. Yeah, these words were written down thousands of years ago. Now it's happening. At the end it shall speak and not lie. 5. For like it's all that's made in the world had the beginning and the end, and it's manifest, Even so, the times also the highest have plain beginnings and wonder and powerful works and endings and effects and signs. And these are signs of the end. Babylon is shut down. People are working but not being paid. You know, you have military workers are being told to go to food pantries. What a fucking joke. And this is the greatest country on earth. All right, she shall, it's like it says in Isaiah, she shall no longer be called tender and delicate, man. You know?
Everyone says they can't do this, they can't do that, but here they are doing whatever they want. At what point is this a coup? Like, I don't... How much longer are people like my husband, all these workers, expected to give up at least 40 hours of their life with no pay? They're all short-staffed, they're all overworked, they're all tired, they're all stressed out, and they're not even getting paid. They can't feed their families.
Every Sunday, my friends turn into analysts and experts. Boston is taking...
I talked to my apartment complex to see if they would have any type of leniency, since I'm a federal employee that's currently not getting paid and I'm still working. And I said, all I'm asking is to waive the late fees if I can't make full rent on time. And the guy was like, no, we're not legally obligated to do that. I can't do that for you. When are places going to understand that just because the legalities are not there, it's probably the right thing to do to help people? Because when my lease is...
This is going to further cause the love of many to wax cold, because Babylon is a very fucking cutthroat, dog-eat-dog society. Capitalism, you know? This is Matthew 24 and verse, what's that, 12. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. Not that word cold, the word there is psycho. And you start, there's going to be a huge increase in psychotic behavior. All right? Psychopath. A person consistently exhibiting antisocial, impulsive, manipulative, and sometimes aggressive behavior. Okay? A mentally unstable person. All right? This is what this is creating. People that are mentally unstable. All right?
is up, I'm going to remember that. I'm going to put that the back of my mind. Because when you're in the business of an apartment complex or insurance company or whatever, relationships mean something.
Welcome back to day 3 of me crashing out in my car before going into work, because I'm a federal employee and I still have to go into work every day and not get paid for it. And the mental toll that this is taking on me and on my coworkers is really unacceptable.
I don't know if it's the mom in me, but I cannot sit back and let people that I know and care about go hungry. Right now, we are in the middle of a government shutdown. The military is not getting paid.
As you can see,
I'm blessed enough.
at the top, we're serving our country, but can't afford groceries. Okay? What's that scripture in Sirach? This is Sirach 26 and verse 28. There be 2 things that grieves my heart, and the third making me angry. A man of war that suffereth poverty. And that's what's happening. All right? You have people that are in the U.S., different military branches. they're serving the country, but they can't put food on their table. They're suffering poverty. Okay? And men of understanding that are not set by thereby, and one that returneth from righteousness to sin. The Lord prepared such an one for the sword. But the point was a man of war that suffered poverty.
To be able to have a savings and have an emergency fund. But for some people, especially new people in the military, young people, not at a position where they are able to do that or where they have done that. I have a soldier right now, brand new to the military, been in barely a year, 18 years old, who didn't tell me, maybe because she's too proud, maybe she's nervous, maybe she's scared, whatever the case may be. But she told her battle buddy that she has $3 to her name. The battle buddy came and told me today. And I'm like, I know that there are programs, I know there are things, but in the moment right now, I'm thinking, what can I do to help this soldier? I am going to go to the commissary and get that soldier a gift card to buy groceries. It's Friday. I cannot sit in my house and be wondering, is my soldier going to be able to eat this weekend? Until Monday, when stuff open back up and the banks, and we can try to get her a loan, this and that. So I figure at least with a gift card, she can get some bread, some lunch meat, some cereal and milk, some cup of noodles, and be able to eat. But I just wanted to come on here and let people know that you may have people in your formation to the left and to the right of you who are scared to speak up, who don't feel comfortable saying anything, and they're suffering in silence.
If you're trying to keep up with the government shutdown, let me give you some even worse news. So I am a federal employee, which means I'm working without getting paid. I go to work every single day, but I receive zeros all the way down my paycheck. Today was the second day of receiving a zero paycheck. But to add insult to injury, not only did I get a zero paycheck today, myself and everyone who I work with, stateside and overseas, received a debt letter as well. So depending on how long you've worked for them and depending on how high you are up, your debt letter was higher. So now I'm making nothing, and I also apparently...
Your $200 puffer keeps you warm at the coffee shop. But as soon as you step outside...
owe money.
So it's day something of this government shutdown. It is currently November 4th. For those of you who don't know, I did share on my page that I am someone who is unemployed and furloughed due to the government shutdown. I am a mom of 4. I am married, but my income does substantially help support my family. So I just want to kind of give some insight to how this affects me financially. So for me personally, I have been with the whatever government since 2008. So this is not my first shutdown. The longest one that I experienced was back in 2018. I think that one was 35 days long. And the way that from that shutdown to this shutdown, what I did when the government shut down this time is that I made sure all of my bills were paid up through the end of October. So now we are at November 4th and my bills are going to start coming due. But what I did is made sure that I have, usually like I'm ordering Costco every 2 weeks, all the things. And of course, a lot of it's unnecessary. My kids need certain snacks. So I have cut back on spending. And I'm just trying to be creative with what food I already have in my pantry, already in my freezer. So yeah, if anything, I feel like once the government does reopen, it has allowed me to kind of be more frugal, because I know that I do, a lot of times I'm spending money not thinking twice about it. Not to say that I have a ton of money. I don't have a luxurious house. I don't drive a luxurious vehicle. I don't wear luxurious clothes. I am frugal, but I'm being even more frugal. And now that Christmas is approaching, just kind of getting ready for that. Something else that I've done is I have created some side hustles for myself. So I also have an Etsy shop and I make handmade tallow. That is called Rue and Rose Co. You can check me out. And then the other thing that I've done is I created a TikTok account. I didn't really post shoppable videos because my account went viral for telling moms to wake up for their kids, not to their kids. And I am in the creator program where I get paid if I have a video that's over a minute long and it gets over 1,000 views. So for example, this video, if you watch it, I could get paid for this video. So anyways, I have tried to create alternative income streams, again, because I am a mom of 4, my kids are in sports, and I don't want to be stressed over money. I don't want to stress over it. So I have created other income streams outside of my main job. So I hope that this is just some insight into what it's like to be a federal employee who is furloughed out of work due to the government shutdown.
Furloughed federal worker here, and I'm starting to wonder if we're ever going to go back to work. I got some incredibly bone-chilling news yesterday, which I still have not had the creator respond with their sources, that the child care centers that are operated out of federal buildings are to be shut down by December 31st. Now that news is incredibly upsetting to us because all 3 of our kids were enrolled there and the intent was for us to put them back there. since I have to go in 5 days a week and it's nearly 1 to 2 hour drive each way, it was the most convenient and the most financially sound for us to put them in that childcare. Outside.
All right, I'm going to pause it here. It's an 18-minute video. We just saw 10. But, you know, hey, Babylon is finished. Esau is done. The Most High is putting the curses on these Edomites. This is Deuteronomy 30:7. And the Lord, Yahweh Shem Shai, that power, will put all these curses on thy enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. You know? So, hey, these Edomites, they starting to feel how Jake been feeling since we got here. Our people been scratching and surviving. You know, the Good Times theme song. But now that's starting to affect Esau. This is Jeremiah chapter 50:16. Cut off the sword from Babylon and him that handleth the sickle in the time of harvest. For the fear of the oppressing sword, they shall turn everyone to his people, and they shall flee everyone to his own land. A lot of people are going to start leaving America. A lot of people are leaving America. And this has been happening for some years now. Passport bros, etc. But a lot of people are going to leave here because of the economic turmoil, okay, political turmoil. And that's what's causing this situation anyway. You know, when we check out 2nd Esdras 15, the Good News Translation, it says great political turmoil. Why is there a government shutdown? Well, they're finger pointing at each other. They're telling you that, you know, Trump and them, they're telling you it's the Democrats' fault, and they're telling you it's the Republicans' fault. You know, when actually they're both on the same team and they have an agenda to bring about the New World Order. This is 2nd Esdras 15 and verse 16. They will actually, let me just start at 14. The world and the people in it are doomed. Okay? People of America, if you ain't part of the elect, all right, especially if you're an Edomite, you're fucking doomed. 2/3 of our people, they're going to get a, you know, supernatural ass whooping, but at least they're going to come back in the kingdom, right? The war that will bring that destruction is very near, and that's going to be Egyptian against Egyptian, and ultimately the Third World War and the second coming of Yahushua. Nations will arm themselves and fight against other nations. There will be great political turmoil, and that's, you know, that they're telling you that's why there's a government shutdown, political turmoil, with one group trying to overpower another and gain control while ignoring the legitimate government. There will no longer be free access to the cities. Watch that movie In Time, you know, which that, you know, it's one of my favorite movies. It kind of shows you the 15-minute cities and how there's not going to be any free access to the cities. They're going to keep certain people in zones, and you won't be able to leave that zone if you don't have enough time or money. Because what you do in this society, you exchange your time for money anyway, so it's the same fucking thing, you know? Because the struggle for power will bring destruction, terror, and total confusion everywhere people live. Driven by famine and terrible suffering, people will assault their neighbors and mercilessly plunder their possession. America is going to get very, it's going to go back to the fucking dark ages, the stone ages, right? So yeah, with that, you know, just a quick lesson. You know, I pray this I brought some edification. That I want to stay strong, keep praying to Yahweh Shem Shai, keep watching, you know, all these prophecies. Hey, as it says in Habakkuk, hey, the end shall speak and not lie. So, hey, you know, Yahweh Shai is coming soon. Shalom.